All my life, since the age of 8, I've had suicidal thoughts. I felt depressed and alone. It all started from when I was 6 months old. My dad was never in the picture, and my mom was on her way to a big modeling career, and she got pregnant. And when she had me, I guess she felt like I ruined her plan. So she tossed me in the local neighborhood dumpster. And one of the neighbors happened to be taking out their trash and heard a baby in the trash can crying. And she looked in there and she said, "Oh my gosh, I know this baby." So what she ended up doing was taking me out of the trash can, and she called my grandma and told her, "You need to come home because your grandson was in the trash." So my grandma went to court, and the judge told my mom she could never ever have custody of me ever again. My grandma ended up getting sick with a nervous breakdown, and as she was in the hospital, I was staying with my mom's sister and her kids and her husband. And from then on, they just took me in after that. They really wanted me because I was getting a check for me every month, like I guess some type of disability check. That's the only reason they had me. They didn't really treat me that good. I remember there were times I went to bed hungry, and sometimes they would tell me, "You don't deserve to go outside, you don't deserve food, you don't deserve clothes." And they would beat me almost every day just for anything. So I stayed in this home until I was 14 years old. From there, I went to another home, stayed there for about a year. From there, I went to another home, then from there to another home. As I'm dealing with this, I really didn't tell a lot of people. I kept it to myself, which I learned that was the worst thing I could do because the suicidal thoughts got deeper and deeper. And I always looked for the truth, like in a true God, because everybody I lived with, I figured there's no way they can be of God if they treat a child like this. All of my friends were going off. They had parents and family who loved them and supported them. They all had support systems, and I didn't. So it was just me. So I seen them with their first cars and their new houses and apartments, and I always felt behind and I felt like a failure. So I really didn't have anybody to confide in. The churches I went to, they were just like the people I lived with, and they always told me, "Don't question God." God was my only hope. But I was just taught if you sin, you go to hell. That's it. And I felt like God didn't love me enough to give me a break like he gave other people breaks in life. So at this point, I say about the age of 22, 23, I figured I'm just going to get out of here myself and I don't care what happens because God doesn't love me anyway. That's when I started planning my suicide. A couple months went by and I was making peace with everybody, like on social media, and calling people and telling them that, I love them, and, I'm sorry I couldn't be enough. And one day I seen a train passing by the train tracks, and I said, well, what I'm gonna do is jump in front of this train. So now I need to figure out what time these trains come every day. And when I actually got the courage to do that, I was with a friend and we were having a bad argument. I kind of just said, "I'm out of here," and I just left. And so I was walking, and as I got close to this train track, I hear their car and they say, get in the car." So I got in the car and I said, "Man, my thought was my plan is ruined now." And ironically, I heard from my mom, who I haven't talked to. She called me when I was 19, and that's the last time I talked to her. And the last thing she said was, I called you to tell you, don't look for me because I don't want you and I don't care about you. And if you have kids, don't claim them as my grandkids because I'm not your mom." That was the last conversation we had. So being in a suicidal mind state already, as I'm talking to her while I'm in my friend's car, like ironically, she calls me that very moment. And she says, "I just wanted to tell you, don't look for me. I don't want you. I don't care about you. I'm not your mother." So I said, "Well, F you, you never were." And then I rolled down the window and tossed out my phone. I threw it out. So then I look at my friend in the driver's seat and I said, "F this." I opened the door and jumped out. And I just remember this boom sound where I hit the back of my head on the concrete. And that's when my near death experience began. I just remember this boom sound coming. in the back of my head. And I said, oh, that hurt. And as I'm getting up, it was harder and harder. I was yanking myself up. Little did I know I'm coming outside of my body. But then I look on the ground as I'm all the way standing up. I look at my body and it's laying on the floor. So I'm wondering, how could this really be happening? So I take maybe about 2 or 3 steps because my plan was to just walk home. I forgot what had happened. So I took about 3 steps and boom, I'm like in this void where I feel the most divine presence I've ever felt in my life. And I knew it was that truth, or that true God slash source that I was looking for all my life. The first thing, I had a bunch of questions in my head and they were all answered right away. They went in the order like this: I'm going to reintroduce myself to you. Yes, I'm real. Yes, angels are real. They're a gift from me. Want to meet them? And I said no. I was very scared. I didn't believe in angels as it was. I didn't believe angels existed. I thought that was just something on TV. So I ended up seeing a projection screen that popped up, and I can see it right now. It had a picture, and it was like a video of a girl, like a prostitute, walking by. And then there was another guy with a briefcase and a suit, and he was walking by. And then there was a stoner guy with a skateboard walking by. He says, I love all of them the same. Then I also seen another guy. It looked like he was walking out of a bank and he was dragging his son by his neck. He had a hold of his neck and he was just dragging him because he was angry. And then the next thing that the source said was, I don't like that. It wasn't in a judging kind of way. It was just more like, I don't like that. And then I asked him, I said, well, how am I supposed to and mind you, it's not audible words. These are all telepathic thoughts. So I felt the emotion in the words and I heard them in my head, like as clear as day. So I said, well, how am I supposed to explain you if I'm going to go back to Earth? Because I felt the most love I've ever felt in my life. And I knew I was not here. The next thing he says was, I will go to the end of the world so everyone is with me. And after that, I just felt him. I didn't see his face. I didn't see his figure, his shadow, or anything like that. But I felt him get on a knee and give me a hug. And it was like the biggest, I felt real arms around me. And I was wondering, can I just go with you now? Like, I don't really want to go back where I was. I felt so much love. And I said, well, let me get perfect. I don't deserve to be in your presence right now. Let me go back and live, get perfect, and come back. He's saying, no, I love you how you are now. I was thinking the whole entire time, what am I supposed to tell people? They're not going to believe me. They're going to doubt me. They're going to think I'm crazy, like a real life crazy person. But then that's when he says, go and tell everyone that I love them. Next thing you know, I'm up in the air. I see this big cloud that was in a circle shape. If I were to cross that, I would probably have went to like heaven or something like that, or paradise, whatever you may call it. I literally see angels covered around me, like everywhere. But there was 2, they felt so familiar, and I paid more attention to these 2. So one was on my right side, one was on my left side. The one on my left side, I didn't really see his face much because there was a bunch of light and it was so bright I couldn't stand it. It was a lot of light. And the first thing I thought when I looked over at that one was, if I went back right now, most of the city would be destroyed because there's so much light. So it's like they're not allowed, those angels particularly, they're not allowed to step on this earth. The one on my left says in a stern voice, like, are you sure you want to go? Like he was sort of like upset. He wasn't mad at me. He was just mad at that he had to see me go through this. And then the one on my right side was very soft spoken. And he says, you have so much to do for so many people. So then I look at the left side and he said, look down. And like a camera, it zooms in to the floor and I see my body there laying on the floor. The paramedics are over me and the friend I was with is over to the left-hand side on her phone. And I'm saying, how can I look all the way down there at my body? I see my literal body laying there. How can I really see myself and the paramedics, but I'm right here with you guys? How does that happen? And they say, because this really does happen. So they said, now, do you want to stay or go? So after hearing the one on my right say, I have so much to do for so many people, I knew I wasn't going to understand it yet, but I just said, you know what? I'm going to go back. So in the snap of a finger, I guess I was back in my body because I woke up about 3 days later in the ICU. And the first thing I seen when I woke up was the nurses like, oh my God, he's up. Oh my God, he woke up. He's such a miracle. And they start calling me Miracle after that. I asked them what happened. Why am I here? And they said, you don't remember anything. And I said, no. They said, you threw up a lot of green stuff. You hemorrhaged, I don't know, out of how many bags. We thought for sure you were gone. They start doing CAT scans and all these other types of tests. They had slit me through the machines, like in these tunnels, and that's all I remember. I was in the hospital for about a week. Of course, I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I had no idea what the near-death experience was. I've never heard of a near-death experience. I just remember when I was wheelchaired out of the hospital, I looked up at the sky and I seen like the horizon from the mountains, and then the sky was clear and it was hot outside. And I just remember saying something happened. Oh, I left my body. That's what happened. Wow, I felt a bunch of love. And that's the day I stopped being scared of death. I told the person that's the first person I told, the person that I was with. Of course, they didn't believe me and they said that I'm seeing things and I was hallucinating. So that lonely feeling that I had came back. And it was one day, about 3 months later, I still didn't really have my taste or smell or anything like that. I can barely even walk right. I was still sort of stumbling. And one day I got out of the shower and I almost fell. And I felt my tongue get stuck to the back of my throat. And I just remember almost like passing out. I had this lightheaded feeling. And that's when telepathically I hear those same voices that I heard when I met my angels. And I knew it was them because it felt so familiar. So they said, empty your mind of everything you've ever known, and I'm going to teach you what you need to know. That was the beginning of me realizing that my guardian angels were with me and that they still talk to me. I definitely know the difference when it's them and if it's someone else, because I know that like spirits are real. And if I hear some other type of spirits, I know if it's them or not. They have their own characteristics. It's so many things they can help you with. You can literally talk to them about every single thing in life. So how can someone communicate with them? All I can say is someone has to have an open mind, because they're not just going to come and interfere inside of your mind without permission. So the first step is to have your mind open, and they will communicate somehow. You might hear something in your head. You might hear a song on TV or on the radio that reminded you of someone somewhere. You might be thinking of someone and then they just call you on the phone or send you a text message, and you hear them in your head, but you feel them with your heart. Just with a little practice, you'll get used to it and you'll start seeing the messages a lot easier. And they will communicate with you if you give them the chance to. I experienced a lot of changes. I know I was not scared of death anymore. I felt more spiritual than religious. Because I do know I felt relief knowing that there is somewhere that you're going to be after you're here. This life isn't it. This is just something we come to experience. So a lot of things changed. I started seeing plants different and animals different. I used to just not care about animals. I'm like, oh, they're just animals. They don't have souls and stuff like that. But I started thinking differently after that. So I seen them as animals, as their own person, like they're their own spirit too. And every plant that I see, I'm like, okay, there plants are spirits too. Like I started seeing everything, the sky and the trees. I started appreciating all like nature, and I didn't before. I started understanding people more instead of Let's say if someone gets me mad really easy, after my experience, I more just understand them more. I try to think about what they're going through in life, maybe something bad that they're going through, just like I was. My employment after my near death experience has changed. I started working with special ed kids. That's become my passion. I love working with those kids. I chose special ed. I feel like they need extra help. And I feel like they're also sort of connected to spirit as well. Something that I will say during that experience, when my angels told me you have a lot to do for so many people, I think that followed me after that because certain things they teach me was being grateful for everything. And also, most importantly, being better every day. And one of the most important things that they told me was to love, spread love everywhere that I can. That's the most important thing because people need love. Even the most angry person needs love in their life. I needed love in my life, and that's what I didn't have, so that's what caused my suicide. Was feeling loveless. At a time like this, it's definitely not easy for most people. I do understand why it would be scared to spread love because it's the fear of not getting it back. And you can easily meet someone and you can show them love and they won't show you love back. They'll say something bad or negative to you and they'll just completely just count you out or write you off for showing love. Like, why are you showing me love for? Like, are you stupid? And I think it can also could scare people off. So all I do is share my story with them, my true story, and hope. And that's what I do. I tell them in hopes that it can help them. In my experience, I wished I would have met that person that had hopes. So when I think about suicide now, I feel like you're cheating yourself, so to speak. But like I said, I can't judge because some people just have had enough. And like I was, there was nothing worse than being here. I didn't care what was going to happen next. Nothing could be worse than being here. So that's why I can't judge. But I wish I could tell any suicidal person to just stick around. Things just wait for it to change because right when you're on that verge of giving up, that's when something good is going to happen. If I can go back, I would tell myself this world is very huge. You're important because if you weren't, you wouldn't be here. I would also tell myself out of all the people you know, there's someone that you can talk to that loves you. If not, I can love you. I do have hope for this world, even in times like this, because there are a lot of people who have love in them. It may just be contagious and it may affect the other person because love is actually proven to heal. Love always wins because it's where we came from. Everyone has talents. Everybody is useful for something. Somebody might be an artist, they can draw so well. Me, I was really into music. So I would try to use that as a positive thing to try to help people through tough times. Maybe they can listen to my music to get stressed out. Somebody might be a good cook. We all need food. They have chefs, the most professional chefs. That's a talent, that's a gift. Somebody might be a great speaker. Everybody has talents and everybody's useful in this world. So every morning, I usually like to wake up early. And if I go to work in the morning or something, I'll go to a certain spot before I go to work so I can just think and clear my head. Some have their own ways of meditation, and the way that I learned that the spirit world works, it's not so picky. Like, you don't necessarily have to follow each and every technique that you see someone do when they're sitting down and they're crossing their legs. You can meditate with your eyes open. You can walk and meditate. If I'm at home in the morning, I have my headphones on. I meditate through music sometimes. Sometimes I don't have music. Either way, I'll pace back and forth while I'm thinking and putting things together and thinking about the day. What do I have to do today? What do I got to do next week? There's so many ways you can meditate. and it all opens your mind and it clears your mind. I believe that most people get material things all because they're searching for that inner peace. So that's like, it all starts with that inner peace. You can have all the money in the world and you have no inner peace at all. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it is important to work. You have to have a roof over your head. You have to have a job to do that. I mean, yeah, that stuff is important. Don't get me wrong, but some people make that they make that everything. They'll put that over everything and they end up missing that inner peace. So, my main message is that you are enough and you are loved. The one thing I like to say is that God/Source has no favorites. Whether you call him God, whether you call him Billy, whether you call him Source, whatever you call him, he's fine with that. I mean, it's not so technical like some people might think. Like, if I call him God, he's not going to hear me because I pray to Jehovah, or like I pray. It's all the same. We come from our creator, so that means that if our creators love, so are we. But we're not used to being on a earth like this. We're used to being advanced. This earth, I feel like, is just an experience. So we can experience what sadness is, what heartbreak is, what anger is. I feel like all of this, we come here to experience what that is. But we're still the same soul. So we just maybe come here to get better ourselves or to learn more. And then we go back home.